So yeah, now I'm just looking for another flame butterfly. Just trying to get my torch again. I guess I could have ran and lit it again, but those things are cheap. You can buy more from SOTFS, and I have them, so I might as well use them. All this webbing and stuff, there's spiders that'll pop up like this guy. They'll drop from ceilings and walls, and they'll just kind of show up. I guess you can snipe for them if you want. Just really carry a torch, and that should help you through here. They should just choose to run away and not attack you. Getting some ferrous lockstones too, so that's good. Which actually reminds me, in another video, I should probably go pick up another really unique and interesting item. Maybe I'll do that in the next video. The only problem with carrying your torch is that these guys are going to attack you, and you really can't block with the torch. You kind of can. It lets you, but you do like 40% block or something from physical attacks, so it's almost not worth it for the amount of stamina you lose while trying to block. And now I'm just running around looking for items and more spiders to kill. There's also another phantom right over here behind this pillar. He's actually probably the best one if you want him to kill minions. He's right back here, kind of hidden. The only main reason I'm killing all these spiders, actually, is because when you beat the boss, if there's still spiders coming after you, because I'm going to put the torch away before I do this boss. If the spiders are trying to get through this fog here, and you beat the boss, they'll actually flood through and attack you. So just in case something happens, lag, maybe my controller disconnects for no reason, whatever the case is, that'll make sure I just don't get attacked. And yeah, so this boss is one of the Lord bosses that you gotta do. And yeah, kind of interesting. So let's watch the cutscene. I know you wanted the dragon thing to come alive. All those spiders climbed up it, and you were hoping that they would, like, do something. Possess the dragon, and you fight a dragon. No, sorry. You fight a giant spider. Which, as cliche as that is, it's kind of interesting because of the laser beams and the different attacks it can do. You probably guessed it was going to be a spider by all the spiders we were fighting. And I kept saying minions because I didn't really want to give it away. But yes, by minions I meant the little spiderling things crawling around on the ground. If you have a phantom with you, they're going to pretty much try to target those first. It leaves you open to attack the boss. That laser beam is easily dodged by running towards the boss and running towards its right side more specifically. Watch out for attacks like that, like I wasn't doing. Almost got hit there. Did get hit there. Almost died. Wow. Got lucky, actually. Laser beam, run to the right side of the boss. It'll always go from, I guess, right side from your perspective. It will always move its head from your left to your right when it does the laser, like that. So always run along this right side, and you can get a couple hits on the other head, because it is a two-headed spider. Kind of just draw out a lot of its melee attacks, but watch out for the leg attacks like this. All these little orangish yellow balls are acid, which will corrode your gear, your weapons, and your armor. Watch out for jump attacks, that'll do pretty good damage. That's the laser attack. It'll always get up like that and open its mouth and move its head over for a laser attack. The mandible bite thing there does some pretty good damage, but it's pretty slow. I was just out of stamina, so I couldn't get out of it. I guess important note about this boss is it can only be damaged on its heads. So anywhere else will not hurt it. That was a web attack. Web attacks really slow. So, anyway, you can't hit it anywhere else other than these two heads. If you have an extremely weak weapon, there's a chance of you cutting off the head, and then cutting off the other head and actually not killing it. It doesn't die if you cut off both heads. So in that case, what you need to do is restart the fight, or grab an armor-piercing weapon, which I don't even think we have one. You would need something that's shield-breaking, and then you could attack it anywhere. But really, the main thing about it is it loves to do this laser attack, and it likes to have little spiders after you when you're trying to attack it. When it does the laser attack, you can really get hits on it. Really, that's most of it. And that wasn't too bad. Sometimes it does some swings at you, moves its whole abdomen over towards you, and I got some spiders over there I should deal with. Most of its attacks are pretty slow, though. So really, anytime you see the head start to do anything, back away and then move to like the right or left side of the spider. Pretty much the right side. And yeah, I love this dragon. I thought that was really cool. We'll come back to this dragon later. We'll actually get a way to access its memories for a pretty unique sword. And I love this dragon all fossilized and covered in webs and stuff. I just think that's so cool. And I would have loved to fight some dragon thing here. But we got a giant spider, and that's fine. Because there's a dragon fight, or a couple dragon fights later. There's one in the DLC, in the first DLC, so not to worry. Dragon fights will come. And we got the Brightstone key and Fragrant Branch of Yore and Dark Quartz ring. That cage is theorized to be the cage that this dude kept his spider in. That was the Duke or whatever of Brightstone Cove. The boss was called Duke's dear Freja. The spider's name is Freya, that's the Duke. Apparently, you know, spider either lived for so long it grew, or magic happened and it grew to humongous sizes. Kind of forgot a lot of the stuff on it. Really, it's a giant spider. You fight it, you kill it, it's dead. You kill him, he drops a key. We'll go back and we'll open some doors with the key. Well, actually, pretty much just one door. If you're at a moment where you're like, I'm not sure whether to put this in strength or dexterity. They benefit you equally, whatever the case is. Like my sword, I get equal scaling, and I had 20 and 20. I would recommend dexterity first, because the max dexterity cap is like, I think it's like 28 for most weapons. There might be a couple exceptions where a weapon is like 30, but it'd be very, very rare, and you'd have to be a dex build for it. Somebody who likes using daggers and stuff. My character's kind of a quality build, where there's even strength, even dexterity, pretty overall even stats. Got some guy attacking me. I'm gonna talk to Vengarl only because I killed his armor. Like the rest of his body. I killed his body, got its armor, whatever I'm trying to say. You talk to him, and he'll realize that it was you that killed the body.
Ah, it was you who vanquished. It is my body, you see, and I can sense what happens to it. I do not mourn for it. Good riddance. If you wish for help, summon me. I'm rusty in battle, but will fight by your side. I cannot lie.
So yeah, that's pretty much all he says. So he'll be a guy at certain boss fights, including in the DLC. There are a couple boss fights where Vengarl is one of them, or maybe even the only guy that you can summon to help you. Actually, in the DLC, the boss I was thinking of where I said he's the only one, he's the only real good one. There's another computer one, but she's kind of weak. So, he's around, he's pretty strong. He's not a super tank. Lucatiel has surprisingly high health, and she can tank most hits. He does fairly good damage, swings fairly fast, and is usually pretty smart, has decent health. So he's kind of overall very well-rounded character. So let's see. I'm going to try and lure a boar here with a bow shot. I hate all this stuff in my way. It's cool. It looks all deserted and stuff, but I'm not going to be able to get my shot off if I'm not careful. And there we go. Alright, so I got it over here, or at least I'm trying to. And I'm remembering that I cut my misadventures with the boar. I cut out a good, like, 7-minute chunk. So the video will slow down again, and I'll try to explain everything that happens, and then I'll try to show, you know, I'm trying to show as if it were one motion down there. Unfortunately, Dark Souls didn't like me this time when I was recording, and I died a million times. You know, it's just my luck that whenever I'm recording, I'm like 30 times worse at the frickin' game. But, you know, that's what happens. So, you want to try and activate the traps, because the boar can die instantly from those traps, just like Benhart. Kind of run through this beginning area as if it were Benhart. Clear out enemies, do whatever. I probably could have killed all these guys before I got the boar down here. But, oh man, it almost fell there. See, it's like that stuff, where I didn't even hit the boar or anything. It's just that these enemies are running by, and their AI is enough to push the boar off the edge of the cliff. And then in that case, you have to lure the other boar down here, or you have to rest and restart. Little stuff like that. You know, and we've got a pretty long walk ahead of us. Now, it is worth mentioning that I don't know exactly what the ratio is, but there's some thing where you have like a 5% chance or something that every time you rest at the camp, or every time you warp to the camp, or something like that, reset the area, I think, there will be a little piglet thing that'll spawn. It's, you know, mini boar. It'll spawn, and you won't have to attack it. It'll just follow you down there. And it'll do the same thing. It'll function exactly like the boar will. It's actually the way that people thought you had to do it. So they were resting, and they were coming back, and they were leaving, and they were doing all that stuff, resetting stuff, trying to get this piglet thing to spawn so that it could follow them down there. I think it still can die, though. So, like, if it makes the wrong fall or whatever, because you gotta make some falls. If it doesn't make it, then it dies, and I think people had a tough time with it, and then somebody found out that you can just lure this boar down here. Again, torches keep spiders away, and since I opened this chest in this room, they're really interested in attacking me. If you didn't open that chest, which inside was like 10 lousy heavy bolts, So it's not really worth it, but I wanted to show it. If you didn't open that, they shouldn't drop down and they shouldn't attack you. So, guess what you have to do is take your boar over here inside your cave. No, you can't rest or anything. Remember that, because if the game even lets you rest, because the boar is considered an enemy and you can't rest when there are enemies nearby. But no, you can't rest because it'll just reset everything. So you have to run down here from the long way. No breaks or anything. The video is going to slow down here in just a second to half speed. Alright, so what you want to do is you want to fall down here. You want to get the boar to come after you. Do whatever you need to do. I don't have my fist, which is the best way of hitting the boar, because if you have another weapon or something, the boar will get hurt. But in my case, you can see here, it just fell off the edge. It fell all the way down. I got the souls for it. It just fell right over the edge and died instantly. So this is where I warp away and try to lure my boar back down here a couple more times. So it's gonna cut, and here we are again. So here's the boar. This time I have the fist ready. Gotta wait for it to come up the stairs. So what you want to do is get it over here to this edge. Usually it should do the charge attack thing, whatever. Punch it a couple times. Knock it that way. But don't knock it over this stone edge. You want to knock it down where this white kind of marble sandstone is. So you can try and lure its attack like that again. But let's hit it. See, I'm only doing like, you know, however many points. Very little is my point when I'm punching. Can't see it that well with my editor, but yeah. Okay, if you get the boar that far, you know, maybe take a minute to heal, do whatever you need to do. Try to punch the boar again down that far. I need to heal. Don't let the boar try to attack you and run in the quicksand. Like mine's over here, that's kind of dangerous. That's where it can die again. What happened to my other one is it fell and it landed in the quicksand, and that's an insta-kill. So, I got the boar. I'm running away from the magic. You're gonna get swarmed by enemies, or by magic, or whatever. So, it's not the easiest run. All these enemies aren't that tough, but you really gotta worry about the boar. You gotta not hit it when you want to swing. Sometimes it'll be in the way. You gotta just keep it alive. Good thing it's slow. So I think I'm gonna get it over here. Come up the ramp. There you go. Okay, we're really close. So this thing, I don't know if the boar can get petrified. That's what the basilisk lizard things do, is they do petrification. And that will kill you instantly if your bar fills up all the way. Your like little resistant meter. I'm not sure if the boar has any meter like that. I'm not sure if friendly fire does anything like that. Or friendly fire, whatever, you know. I'm not sure if they have friendly fire like that. Don't worry about these enemies. They're not going to bother you. You should be able to run straight across this bridge. The boar is not dumb enough to fall in those spikes, I think. It's running. We got spiders. Gonna light the torch. I'm glad I lit this earlier so I didn't have to use a flame butterfly. Alright, so the spiders are running away. Here's the boar, and right in this little grass patch are some mushrooms. This is what you need the boar to do. It's going to walk over here ever so slowly. It's going to take its time and eat the mushrooms. Then, once it's done doing that, you should see an item on the ground, and you can kill it, pick it up, and you'll get your pickaxe. It's not that great of a weapon, but it's unique, one of kind, can only be gotten this way. Or, I guess, if somebody drops you theirs, chances of that happening are very slim. And that key we got from killing the Duke, you use in here. Keep your torch out. More spider rooms. Get the Black Knight Ultra Greatsword, Great Fireball, and a Fire Seed for your Pyromancy Flame to be upgraded yet again. We haven't upgraded it at all. I'm just kind of stockpiling the seeds, but if you're into that fire magic thing, awesome. Your flame should be at like plus probably 6 or 8 by now. If that's if you bought like the ones from the Pyromancer lady. You should have like 8 or something like that. Maybe 9. And now, what made this video just a little bit longer is I decided, since I did Doors of Pharos and killed the Royal Rat Authority, I should finish out and kill the Royal Rat Vanguard and show the other half of entering the Rat King Covenant. I'm not gonna actually join them or anything. If you did join them in Doors of Pharos, you can run through here safely. You're not gonna get teleported out to some guy's world, and you won't have to battle anybody, because remember, these areas are PvP areas. And you can tell by the little rat, yes, not really little, the rat silhouette doorway thing by each bonfire. I didn't really point it out, but it's there. If you warp to each bonfire, you'll see that the doorway you enter these areas in is like rat fang shaped. You'll see it if you look. So technically, in this area, if a person is in the Rat King Covenant and they are wearing their ring and you are running through here and you're all within your soul level matching range, well, actually soul memory matching range, you can get teleported out. So really running through here is kind of a chance, but I'm just going to be honest, this Covenant died a few months into the base game because the rewards you got from it weren't spectacular, and especially this area, the like traps are not as good as the ones in Doors of Pharos. Because all these, like, you use your Pharos Lockstones here to lower the bridge. Everything else, you can put one in front of these rat statues, and they'll spit out, like, acid to corrode armor. But that doesn't help you really in any way, because your opponent won't stay in the acid puddles. Nah, can't speak. Your opponent won't stand in the acid puddles long enough for it to degrade your armor all the or their armor all the way. Sorry again. They won't stand there long enough for it to do anything. It doesn't do damage. There's really no benefit to fighting over here. The other areas got statues that throw axes and tons of enemies that you can unlock and pathways that you can block off, so that they have to run the long way around. And they've got other traps, like saw traps and stuff. I guess the only reason you'd really be in here is if you're in the company of champions. And you're in here, you beat this boss, and you bonfire ascetic this bonfire that we're going to. Actually, no, it's the bonfire that we were at, I think. You bonfire ascetic that one. This area, you can fight on that bridge up here. You can kill a red phantom invader guy for an Awstone. And you need 50 Awstones to get the max reward, so this is a good farming area for that. There's a whole guide on it if you're trying to farm Awstones check it out. This boss is the Royal Rat Vanguard, and, you know, warning, it's really not that interesting. Shouldn't be too difficult. So basically this fight, how it goes. You're gonna walk in here, there's gonna be rats that fall from ceilings and walls and pretty much everywhere. And you have all these statues that are in your way. They don't do anything but block your attack. So you can hit the statue, you might not hit the rat. Keep killing rats until the Vanguard shows up. So this isn't actually the boss. These are just kind of things to distract you from the boss. You have to kill a certain number before he shows up. But there, now you see the health bar. How you detect him from the rest is when he falls down, he'll have a mohawk on his back. Like that. Kind of hard to see, but there it is. He should die in 6, 7, 8 hits. And he's dead. Much, much easier than the Royal Ratathor. So, this boss, not hard at all. Shouldn't be too difficult. The only thing you have to worry about are these other rats. They'll bite you, and you can get petrified from them. That's really the worst of it. If you can maintain the rats, then you should be fine, and that's the Rat King. Again, you can talk to him and join the Covenant this way. You know, toy around in it if you want. The only way to rank up, though, is to get rat tails, and you do that from beating the 2 bosses, or from beating people that get summoned into your realm, or from farming rats. Rats sometimes have a chance of dropping rat tails, so if you really want to rank up in that Covenant, that's how you can do that. And a side note here, I'm going to try and get this item on that ledge. Might have pointed it out when we went down to get the gutter bonfire. That's how you get it, and I didn't make the jump, so I'm going to get out of here quickly. But yeah, so that item is the disc chime, and the only reason you want to get it is because it's one of a kind. Or 2 of a kind if you consider the DLC part of the, you know, main game. It's one of a kind in the base game, I should say. It's a shield chime. So you can block with it. It doesn't block a lot. It's not really great for blocking, but you can block. It's kind of slow because it's meant to be kind of, you know, both. So it's going to be a slow casting chime, and it's also a shield. I'm getting it because it's unique. It's a crappy jump, though. So if you don't get it a couple times, don't worry about it. Sure, I'll write a message, too. The only point to writing messages, I think I mentioned it in a previous video, but just in case I didn't, you write a message. If somebody else comes along and they see it and they like it, they can rate it. And if they rate it, then you can get some health back. In the middle of combat, you could be fighting a boss that says your message has been rated, and then you get a health boost, or health gain thing. A little chunk of your health will come back. And I've seen videos where it's crazy. There have been people doing PvP duels in, like, the Brotherhood of Blood arena and that kind of stuff. There's been times where people have been battling, one guy's gonna die, and he gets a message rated thing, gets a decent portion of his health back, and ends up tanking one more hit than the opponent and wins. So it's crazy, but it happens. Alright, this is the gutter. We've already been down here once before, that's why the bonfire's all lit up. This is the next section, dealing with all this. It's reminiscent of Blighttown from the first game. Poison, crappy jumps, walkways, that kind of stuff. In this case, it's dark. Normal Blighttown really wasn't that dark. But, yeah. So that wraps up the Rat King's little segment. his little spotlight. I guess I didn't buy Pate's armor. Buying it now. Whatever. That wraps up his little spotlight. And I guess I should mention that real quick. I got the Silver Serpent Ring +1. If you spend 10,000 souls with the Hag Lady, she gives you that. Just like the guy with the Gold Serpent Ring. You just talk to this lady, so... Anyway. Yeah, so we wrapped up the Rat King. We wrapped up Brightstone Cove. Got everything we need down there. Did Shaded Woods to the best of our ability. I guess I could go back and talk to Man Scorpion Tark. I think he gives you a rapier and something else now. If he doesn't, we'll talk to him at the end of the game where he will for sure give us some unique stuff. So I think before I end the video, I'm just gonna, you know, I put some rings in the box, the weaker rings, the normal versions, not the +1 versions. I put those in the box. And I just upgraded my sword to max, which now makes it an A scaling in both strength and dexterity, which is fantastic. 175 base damage, where you're going to get most of your damage is your scaling. So, if you are using this weapon like me, pour some stats into strength and dexterity, you will not regret it. This weapon is pretty darn good. So, that is... Thanks for sticking it out and watching this video. Hopefully the next one won't be so choppy. And have a good day. See you next time.